Hello there and welcome to Scott and Becca Saturday, or Scott and Becca Sunday. I have no idea what day we're uploading this on. It could
I don't know what day it is, never mind what day you're uploading.
It could be Christmas Day for all I know. We have got Christmas hats on. So, merry whatever day it is everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Pleasure Beach Experience. So we thought we'd do a joint effort on the season review from 2018. So of course this is Becca, if you're new to the channel. Becca's a vlogger who likes to upset everyone with some very strong opinions that don't fall in line with anyone else on the channel, but that's keeps us all different, doesn't it? So
keep people awake.
Yeah, it keeps everyone entertained, gives everyone something to comment on, something a bit different than me and Mike kind of having very similar opinions, although I don't like Vekoma as much as Mike does.
I don't think anybody does.
No, although there is someone who has come forward saying that they are the biggest Vekoma fan. I saw it on Twitter the other day, so if you are going to Blackpool on opening weekend, please book onto our event and you'll get to meet the biggest Vekoma fan ever, other than yourself. So that'll be an interesting conversation. So, firstly, how was your 2018? In general?
I don't think most of the parks that I visited disappointed me this year.
They did?
I don't think...
Well, they didn't.
They did.
They did?
They did disappoint me. I don't think many of them thrilled me that much this year. I think I could pick something wrong with most of them. I think there was only one park I can't pick fault with all year.
Bad cop, good cop. I see the good in these parks and Becca's nah.
No, but I've seen parks in a very different light this year.
Yeah.
I've seen parks having to push a buggy around and most of them are a bloody nightmare.
Yeah.
And non-riders, being a non-rider in these parks is horrible.
Yeah, it's something that's obviously been a big change for us this year. We became parents in April and it has been amazing. It's been a very, very exciting year for us as parents, but it does make visiting theme parks very different.
Yeah.
And it gives a different light on certain things, and it is nice to know though that even though we have complained to a couple of parks about access and just, you know, getting around them, quite a lot of parks have got back to us and gone, actually we didn't realise that these were an issue, we're going to sort them out as soon as possible. Phantasialand, as an example, took Becca's comments on board in our Phantasialand vlog, and I can think of some places that probably would have really kicked off about the comments, but actually Phantasialand went, okay, fair enough, you've made your point, it's a very good point, and we're gonna sort it out.
And I can see why it's easily missed, because most park operators won't have walked around their park pushing a buggy.
No.
Needing to change a baby every 5 steps or anything like that. But I think it's something they should do. They should either have to take... Because it's the same for wheelchairs taking a buggy anywhere. A buggy you can sometimes lift if there's an obstacle, but that's not an option with a wheelchair. So I think every park operator should walk around their park with a wheelchair or a buggy and just see what they find.
But as well as that, don't send the biggest, stockiest guy who works for you. Send round a guy who's not so strong, send round a lady, send round 2 of the people who work for you that aren't particularly big built, and just see how they get on with lifting buggies up steps and you know, through tables and chairs and stuff like that, because like we say, it does make you realise when you've got a child, you go, oh actually I never noticed these things before because I didn't have to worry about them. I'll just climb upstairs, or I'll just...
Well, some of them have been an annoyance in the past, but then it just becomes completely impractical from just being an annoyance, like not being able to get through tables.
Yeah, tables...
It's annoying at first.
Yeah.
And then when you have to get a buggy through, it's just impossible.
Yeah. So we're going to go through the months of the year and various stuff that we've done. Obviously there'll be a chunk of it where Becca sort of sits there nodding going, yeah, I didn't go because I was having a baby, which is fair enough, but next year I'm sure you'll sort that out by getting lots of new credits over time.
Hopefully.
And hopefully towards the end of 2019 our little boy will get some credits, so we can finally go to Warrington Gulliver's. Hey, you can finally do the antelope. Bet they remove it next year.
No, please don't.
Well, they certainly won't RMC it.
Don't give them any more ideas. I'm sick of hearing about RMCs already.
You know, We might get some in the UK in about 20 years. We're always dead far behind everyone else.
Well, hopefully the fad will have gone by then.
At least Europe's getting some, so everyone that's calling for them in the UK has got the chance to go and do one at Waldeby Holland next year. So yeah, anyway, let's start with February. We had the regulation Blackpool Pleasure Beach opening weekend event when it was freezing.
That was cold.
It was so cold. It just seemed colder than ever. It seemed busier than normal for an opening day. There were so many enthusiasts there, just in awe of Icon, because it was the first time we'd all properly seen it, other than when we'd all been on the seafront watching it. We were in Blackpool a couple of days before the Pleasure Beach opened, and it's something we really enjoyed doing, wasn't it? Just watching the preparation of the Pleasure Beach. Was there anything in particular you liked about that?
I liked seeing the last bit of track going for Icon and seeing the very last bits just suddenly happen.
Yeah.
Because from the Big Blue we could see how many trucks and stuff there were in the Pleasure Beach.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, some of them were still there, and then by the time we got in the park it was clear.
Yeah, they were just gone.
And it's just so quick, the turnaround from building site to amusement park.
Yeah, because we arrived on the Thursday afternoon. I think it might have even been the Wednesday night, I can't remember.
I think it was the Wednesday we went.
We arrived and we looked out the Big Blue window and we didn't see the sun in the sky. I've got that in my head now.
Oh no.
Pleasure Beach, Pleasure Beach. Oh, anyway, yeah, we saw the big grey sky out the Big Blue window. We did have a bath in absolute luxury. Anyway, I'm going to stop quoting that song now. I actually flooded the bath that weekend in Big Blue, and it's not because I'm overweight, it's because I put too much, what's that stuff called? Albus, because I was trying to clear my nose.
Yes, I think you cleared the nose of everyone staying in the Big Blue that
At least no one had a cold. So yeah, we arrived on the Wednesday evening, I think. Becca says it's the Wednesday, so we'll say it's the Wednesday. So. And we looked out the Big Blue window and all we could see was cranes. There was just cranes everywhere. You could see Icon track being lifted down, you could see cranes everywhere, diggers, you could see them frantically testing other rides as well, and you could just see them. It was just crazy. It was crazy to watch. And I think next year we would have probably done the same thing, but unfortunately the Wednesday I think falls on Valentine's Day or the Thursday. So it's just like, nah, I'm not paying Valentine's Day prices just to watch the rides testing out the window. But we will be getting lots of updates leading up to the new Pleasure Beach season. I'm going to probably be up there quite a lot filming the rides testing. Yeah, we move on from there because we didn't do much in February. Obviously there's not much to do, so we move on to March, and then we saw Icon testing for the first time. What were your thoughts on that?
I wasn't sure what to think, because it's obviously going to look slow in its first few tests, and everyone was whinging about it going slow, but
yeah,
it's not how it looks, it's how it rides, so
yeah.
I was reserving judgment at that point. I was just glad to see it finally moving.
Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to be at Alton Towers on that Saturday, but we got snowed off, so we said, well, Icon's been testing in the week, let's go Pleasure Beach. We'd been tipped off by a couple of people that, yeah, it's going to be testing on Saturday. So we were like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go and get an update. Let's get the first update from inside the park. Get some shots that, well, no one had seen before, including us. So it was really exciting to get them. Previous to that, though, I'd done the Wicker Man Meet the Makers press event as well. And then the following week did the Wicker Man launch press event, which was the day before it snowed. And the day before Icon started testing for us to all see in the park. So it was a really busy month and probably a really big month for Pleasure Beach experiences. In fact, it was probably the best month of the year in terms of analytics and stuff, just generally seeing the channel grow. So that was, for me, one of the biggest highlights of the year. Also, around February, March time, we were looking at flights for Cedar Point, and it seemed like a pipe dream for me. I didn't think I was going to get to go. But it was Becca who found the flights, and I was like, well, are you sure? Are you sure? Do you want, can I go? It's a month after we're having a baby, and you were like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
So, good decision. It was well worth it, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So, we move away from March, because we didn't really do much in March, did we? Other than watch Icon testing over and over and over again, which was great. And then we started to hear rumours that it was going to open in April, but we were like, it doesn't seem likely. But then
there's a lot of testing to do.
Yeah, because we'd heard that there was, what, 1,000 hours of testing to do, and it just seemed like after a week people were saying, oh, it's going to open in April. You're going, I don't think so. But after them initial test runs, what were you thinking then? After you'd sort of seen the comments of it being slow and we watched it testing, it seemed to speed up.
Yeah.
Did your excitement at all build for Icon at that point?
Still wasn't sure about it because not overly keen on launch coasters, and it was that one bit that I don't like that was worrying me.
Yeah.
Coming back over.
The inline twist.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and because you couldn't really see a lot of it from one, you couldn't see the whole ride from one position. You only got to see bits of it depending on where you were standing, so it was difficult to judge the whole ride.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, we move on to April. We became parents on the 18th of April, so 18 for 18.
Yep.
We'll never forget that one. And I'm taking this off now because it's itching. So off with the hat. It's getting warm in here.
It's not, I'm freezing.
Nah, it's warm.
Freezing.
Man's not warm. Man's not cold even. I need a drink of Coke. I've not got any Coke today. What's going on? Oh, actually, yeah, I have. Cheers. So yeah, moving on again. We'll get to May because that's when you could start doing coasters, and that's when we could start doing trips together again. And obviously, I had this trip to Cedar Point, which I've spoken about a lot. Managed to do a lot of bucket list coasters. I'm hoping one day I can encourage Becca to come to Cedar Point.
Yeah, Cedar Point's not a park I'm bothered about whatsoever. I know every enthusiast on the planet thinks it's the greatest thing ever, but I've got other sites. Nothing in particular grabs my attention at Cedar Point, so I don't see the point in rushing there.
You don't see the point in rushing there?
Oh, no. What have I done?
But why?
There's just nothing that grabs my attention. There's just nothing that looks amazing for my liking.
That's fair enough.
There's things that look alright. It's not that I don't like the look of anything.
Yeah.
It's just nothing looks worth that journey.
I think you'd like Magnum. You like the big one, Pleasure Beach. So I think you'd like Magnum, but I think it'd maybe ruin big one for you once you've done it.
But my favourite part of the big one's a turnaround.
Yeah. Magnum's turnaround is definitely not better than big ones.
So yeah.
Yeah. But that first drop though on big one, Magnum's is very much similar, just without the twist. So I know you wouldn't like Steel Vengeance. Absolutely no chance. You just wouldn't like it. I know that. Millennium Force, probably not. Raptors and inverts, so you probably wouldn't like that. Yeah, I'm starting to see why you maybe wouldn't like to go. Blue Streak, you'd like that.
Yeah.
That's like Big Dipper and Roller or Nickelodeon Streak put together. It's good. It's got that Pleasure Beach woody edge to it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Maybe you've got a point why you don't really want to go, but you never know. You didn't want to go to Leesburg.
Yeah.
I encouraged you to go to Leesburg, and now you want to go back there. So you never know. You might go there and like it one day.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So moving on from the trip to Cedar Point, which, like I say, I really enjoyed it, and I am going back next year, taking a bit more of a PBE crew with us, which we'll talk about more in the new year. So the week after that, we had the first rides on Icon. We had the boarding passes, which were bought as a group for Pleasure Beach Experience, and that was crazy. That was crazy getting, I think it was nearly 60 people onto the first trains on Icon. Was crazy because originally we got an event planned for that day, but we didn't know Icon was going to be opening that day. I'd got an inkling there could be some sort of soft opening, but I didn't think it would be boarding passes. So we'd sort of planned the event without Icon into it, and we'd got a big one ART and other stuff scheduled, and then the Icon boarding passes were announced, and everyone in the group was like, well, we're doing Icon if we've got boarding passes. So we took the decision as the club to buy boarding passes for the whole group because we thought it was the best thing to do. We'd covered Icon for God knows how long in construction updates, and we're like, it's only fitting that we're the first people on it. So it made sense to do it, and I don't regret it because everyone absolutely loved it. Even though people weren't particularly like raving about it as much as me and Mike as an example. Some were, some weren't. Everyone appreciated the opportunity.
The noise that you could hear from the Big Blue when the first couple of trains went, where there was more noise from the PB trains than there was from any of the trains that followed. Because I was sat in the Big Blue watching it all, and there was a lot more noise coming from PB trains than any of the others.
What can I say? We're just a noisy bunch. Noisy, friendly bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember seeing you watching actually.
Well, couldn't miss you and Mike in bright yellow, could I?
Whoa, 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 I was in the PB top. I wasn't in yellow.
Oh, there was a few people in yellow.
I wore yellow on Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because I wore a yellow t-shirt with orange shoes. Because there's about 7 pictures of me on Icon the second day. But yeah, that first day was amazing. We did that, and then we did the big one, ERT. And then we had a Valhalla ERT for some reason. Everyone was squelching and soaked after that, as you can well imagine. But that was the point where that heat wave that we had this year started. So I don't think anyone was complaining about getting soaked, to be honest. And yeah, it was an all-round really good event, really good day. Probably the best event day of the season. I'm pretty sure it was anyway. Can't think of any reason why it wasn't. It was just that initial excitement of getting on Icon the first time was unrivaled really for the rest of the Pleasure Beach visits. But the first time we went on Icon together is something that we really want to address. So the first time we did Icon together was on the press event, which again, as I've said many times, big thanks to Pleasure Beach for inviting 4 of us to the press event. So when we did Icon that first time, Becca wanted to do it on the back row, but I was pretty insistent that we did it on the front row. 1, because the camera was set up for the rider cam, and 2, I felt that you needed to do front before you did back. So we did the front row, and whilst Becca talks about your initial thoughts of riding Icon and obviously building up to that and then what you thought when we went on it, I am going to load up that video of us 2 on Icon. I'll put a card in the screen, and there's quite a lot of comments on it which were pretty nasty, but I just want to touch on them because I think it's relevant to the point of explaining why we didn't look quite as excited as we probably should have done on it. So yeah, what were your first thoughts leading up to going on Icon and then actually going on it?
So a lot of people have been on Icon before me with the boarding passes. I wasn't fit enough to ride at that point. So I'd heard a lot about it, a lot of it's the best thing ever, and I'm just thinking, no, it won't be. But at the same time, I think I was possibly expecting a little bit more from it. I'm not sure in what way, but there just felt like something missing, and I still don't know what that is. It's not as strong a feeling as it was the first time, but I don't know, it felt like I was expecting something that just never happened.
Yeah, I can understand to a point, because I've touched on it in a couple of other videos where the first time I did it I expected a little bit more from certain elements, but got more out of other elements that I didn't expect.
When you first ride a coaster, you can't look, unless it's something that you've really been looking forward to, you're not going to look the most excited person ever. I
think the biggest danger that you have as an enthusiast is you ride so many coasters and you travel to so many places in the world. When you get a brand new roller coaster in your favourite park, you're extremely worried that it's going to be crap.
Yeah.
And let's face it, it was the first new roller coaster at Pleasure Beach since the big one. We'd never been old enough to have that luxury of actually seeing a brand new coaster open at Pleasure Beach. Of course we had Infusion,
but it's not quite the same.
We knew what it was, and I don't know.
It's a standard model, so you'd been on one before.
I'd been on it before.
Yeah.
That's the thing, I'd been on it 30 miles down the road in Southport, so I knew what to expect. I knew what it was going to ride like. It was just blue. It was no longer red, it was just blue in a different place, in the place of what was one of my favourite ever rides at Pleasure Beach, which was log flume.
The main gist of the comments, before we actually go into the particular comments, was how bored certainly I looked.
Yeah, and do you ever smile?
Sometimes.
Yeah, that was one that you kept getting levelled.
But that's it. I wasn't sure what to think. I'd heard so much good about it, but then I'd watched it test a lot in there's a preconceived kind of thought that you've got in your head of how it's going to feel. So you've got all these mixed things about everyone saying it's brilliant, you've got a few people saying it's awful, you've got all this watching it test, then you've got the fact that I'm not keen on launch coasters for a particular reason, and I wasn't sure how the launches were going to feel. Thankfully with Icon, I like the way the launches are. I like the more gradual build up to speed rather than a just sudden hit of speed. So I did prefer that, but at the same time I was waiting to see what it was like.
Yeah.
I knew that straight after that ride I was going to be asked and asked and asked, what did you think of it? So you kind of have to pay attention.
Yeah.
It's not like we were just riding it for the sake of riding it. We were at an event where we knew fine well that as soon as we stepped off of that, we were going to be questioned, what did you think of it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't just kind of want to be clouded of, I didn't really pay attention, it was good.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the ride as we were doing it and kind of paying attention to all the bits that we'd seen as it was being built, so kind of how close does it feel to the big one, and I've seen this bit from this bit, and there was a lot going on for that first ride.
Yeah. I think from my point of view, I actually really regret us getting that one filmed, and I think maybe me and Mike should have done the rider cam because we'd both been on it. Because from my side there was a lot of pressure from my point of view of not looking too excited, because 2 months earlier I'd been absolutely slated on the Wicker Man rider cam for having my arms up and being excited and being told you look too excited. From my point of view, having seen what the comments were like on the Wicker Man video, where there's me and Gary from Attraction Images, and Gary sat looking fairly sort of reserved and I'm there like this, I got hammered for that, and Gary got hammered for that as well. Because
there's also the point, if you put your arms up, you end up with a video like that.
That's exactly what we got.
And you can't see the other person, and it just gets annoying. We've had this trouble with on-ride photos before, where you've got someone with their hand over someone else that you wanted the picture of. Yeah. It just gets annoying.
So for me, it was a case of just lean on the restraint and just try to enjoy it, but it is really difficult trying to enjoy a roller coaster when you're being filmed, especially when it's not on your camera.
Exactly.
So I was we
had no idea what kind of angle that camera was giving. Yeah. We had no idea what we looked like on camera, so we had to do our best not to look like a bunch of proper idiots on there. And
to be fair, the reason that whole video has never been published is because I do look like a proper idiot in points because of where the camera's sat. My head's, because I'm leaning back.
Yeah, you do look like you're sat like that the whole time, but it's not the case. It was not completely bad placement because there's only so much you can do on these things for the way the train's designed, but in a way it is bad placement, but it's not out of choice.
The thing is, I think now as well, Pleasure Beach know that the best Icon POV is to have it on a secure wrist mount where you're kind of looking straight at it. And there is a guy who filmed as part of the press on Icon doing that lately, and his POV is so much better because you get a full idea of him enjoying it, and also because he's got the camera like that, it's at a proper level with him, whereas we look like giraffes on it a little bit because you've just got our necks like that. But I think that was a really disappointing thing from our point of view, that it's probably one of our most watched videos, but we both got slated for it. But not from Pleasure Beach Experience subscribers, it was pretty much people who watched once and just wanted to have a dig. So we've got one that apparently we made it look like we're on the way to Tesco. I can definitely say that Icon is better than Tesco, and it's more exciting than Tesco, unless Tesco's giving out free Coca-Cola, which doesn't happen. Yeah, that is just generally the kind of comments that we got. Becca got quite a lot of abuse. Do you never smile? You look like a lot of fun. Blah blah blah. Just looks a bit boring, really.
Yeah, there was a lot of comments like that. I mean, I certainly expect these kind of comments, but there was just so...
Yeah.
Oh, some of them were just written so badly.
Apparently I've got balls of steel. I can tell you it's ball of steel. Moving on. When are Blackpool going to make some taller and faster rides? When they've got the money?
Space. Yeah, let's...
That woman doesn't smile, does she?
Well, get me a ride that I like and we'll talk.
It's just one of those things. The thing is, we just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it's something that for the last 6 months we've been absolutely hammered on by, obviously, people that aren't subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, people that don't actually know us, who haven't watched any of the previous vlogs, any of the original videos of us all. Yeah.
It was just, it makes me question what to do on a rider cam video, because I've done 2. I've got one on Wickerman where I was too over enthusiastic, and I've got one on Icon where I'm sat there trying to be reserved, and I don't know what's right or wrong. So next time we do a rider cam video, I'm just putting my arms up or out, as long as they're not in the way of anyone. Superman. Yeah, a bit of Superman going on. So yeah, I just make sure that my arms are up and not in the way of anyone. I'm gonna look dead happy. So hopefully we'll get to do an Icon rider cam video again at some point. I've been bugging the BBC for the one with Mike on it. That was on BBC Northwest Tonight, but I think it's been deleted from the archives, unfortunately. But it did make the news, so it was good for Mike. That's why he's...
it does float around Facebook every so often, if anyone watches out for it. Mike's been tagged in it about 20 times. Yeah,
it really was a case if you're on the telly now, because we were on so many different channels that day.
I managed to get lucky and kept my back to the camera because I was filming, so that was good for me.
There's still a bit of footage from that day that we don't know who filmed Becca.
Oh, I have no idea. I did an interview for someone, and it was quite a long interview, and I haven't got a Scooby who they were, so if anybody knows, because me and a couple of others...
Luke Farmer was one of them that got interviewed, and he doesn't know either.
We just don't know who the hell that was. They were a nice friendly bunch of people, and...
we just never saw the content.
No.
But yeah, the Icon Media Day was probably one of the best days of the year for me. Yeah. Outright. It was just a great day. It was nice to feel part of something big that was going on at the Pleasure Beach. Of course, we do a lot of stuff for the Pleasure Beach, but that was just on another level. And being invited to speak on behalf of the Pleasure Beach as well on different occasions to the media. There was at least 3 occasions where we were asked to sort of represent the Pleasure Beach in terms of what we thought of Icon and why people should come to the Pleasure Beach and stuff, and all 3 of the clips were used in different walks of the media, so we must have done something right on that front. And
a couple of different radio appearances
and stuff like that. Yeah, I've definitely got a face for radio, so I'm glad it was on the radio. I had to get that in somewhere.
Moving on.
It was good to meet Andreas Anderson again from Leesburg, from obviously chairman of IAPA at that point. We'd met him before, but that was the first time we'd properly met him, and it was a real honour to actually sit down and interview him. We interviewed Nick Thompson as well.
Yeah, that was good. That was a nice chat we had with him.
Yeah, because even off camera with both Andreas and Nick, we had really good chats with them.
Yeah.
And it was nice to know them as people as well. It wasn't just it wasn't like a corporate conversation. It was actually
both very friendly and
genuine.
Very
and the same for Amanda Thompson too. I've spoken to Amanda Thompson on Twitter and in person once Icon opened, and Amanda's great. Amanda is really great and deserves a lot more credit than what she does get from a lot of people online. I'm not suggesting coaster enthusiasts, because I think the coaster community is quite friendly towards Amanda. I just think it's sometimes you just see some of the comments on like Blackpool Gazette and stuff, and they're just out of order, some of the comments. I mean, at the time of filming today, the Blackpool £300 million Blackpool Central thing's been announced, and the first comment I saw wasn't like, yes, this is brilliant. It was, I wonder what Amanda thinks of this.
Yeah, what? I saw that. What's that got to do with anything?
Do you know what Amanda's thinking? Brilliant.
Yeah, more people come to Blackpool.
That's exactly what Amanda will be thinking. More people. And that's what Pleasure Beach will be thinking. Yeah. They'll be thinking, great. Extra revenue, extra people.
The thing is, they all work together. It's not Blackpool versus Pleasure Beach.
No.
They do work together with Visit Blackpool and things like that. It's not all one against each other. It's a great thing for all of them. So they'll all be very pleased. So
moving on from Icon, we did Plopsaland in Belgium for the first time. What were your thoughts on that?
That's maybe the other park that I couldn't pick fault with, if I could get my words out. Yeah, that was really glad that we stopped off there.
That was instead of Dunkirk.
Yeah.
It was a good move, really.
Yeah.
Because we did Dunkirk later in the year.
Yeah. So, oh right, so we got two new credits. Heidi the ride I thought was absolutely brilliant. The whole area is really well themed. Everything was really good. Also very family friendly. The changing facilities were brilliant there. And then we had that
Anubis.
Yes, Anubis.
Anubis the ride.
That was going fantastically. What a good ride that was. And then it did the worst thing that any ride can do, and too many of them do this. It has a horrible inversion right at the end, and it ruined the whole ride for me. It does. It kills it, because the rest of the ride is actually good. And going around, I was thinking this would be great to have one of these at home. Nice, compact, nice, quick. Has everything to it, and then it does that at the end, and it's just like, oh no, I can't do that again. Because the trains aren't particularly comfortable,
well, they're like,
but you don't notice it as bad until that point, and then you're just thinking, no, I'm not doing that again.
They're like the Smilers trains, but smaller, basically. It's
yeah, you're a bit squashed in.
Yeah, it's got the same, well, it's a Gertz, isn't it? So it's got the same kind of restraints. Just, I thought the same. I was.
It leaves you a bad taste for the ride, because you're going to remember that last thing, and it's just horrible, and then you just stop putting this bloody bit in.
Because I did it before you, and I was initially shocked at how good the launch was, and then it got the airtime hill straight after it, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is good. Yeah. This is my kind of ride. And then after that, I thought, oh, here we go, Gert's ache. It just started to hurt my shoulders and got a bit of a head rattler. And then you get to the end, and it's got the inline twist, and you're just like, no, not needed. No. That could have just been straight bit of track.
Nice bunny hop at the end. That's all they needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's very well, the entrance to the station, everything's beautifully themed. All that's very nice, but they killed it at the end.
Yeah, and then my opinion on Heidi the ride is just a great wooden coaster. It's the same layout as White Lightning and Fun Spot. I think it's Fun Spot Orlando. I'm not sure which one it is.
But it's got a much better feel to it. It feels like a proper...
It's because it is wooden.
Yeah.
It's not a hybrid.
That makes so much of a difference. It really does. It's got much more personality about it.
I'd love to see a Gravity Group coaster in the UK.
Yeah.
I really would. See, that kind of layout would work. There's so many parks where that kind of layout, or Wood Express at Park St Paul, couldn't think of its name, that would be perfect. That kind of woody is what we need. So places like Flamingo Land, Drayton, even Thorpe would really benefit from one of those.
Yeah.
Chessington.
Be nice to have one at Thorpe, actually.
Yeah. I hope one day we get a big wooden coaster at Thorpe Park. I think, having seen the success of the Wicker Man, I do think Thorpe will get a wooden coaster. But whether it'll be GCI, I don't know. But you'd think so. It's probably more likely to be on the scale of Woden at Europa rather than Wicker Man, though. I'd imagine it'll be big.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because they'll go for the looking impressive rather than riding better. But
yeah, we'll see.
That's how we seem to be going with coasters at the minute.
Yeah, as long as it's not like Coaster Express, we're all right. So another park we did on the trip to Plopsaland, we then went to Toverland. That was the first of 2 visits to Toverland. It was a very, very quick trip. Yeah. It was 33 degrees, if I remember rightly, and we were cooking. It was just so warm.
But Toverland has nice fountains to deal with.
Yeah, we'll cover Toverland in more depth because we did do it on a bigger scale later in the year. But I did get invited to have a look around the Phoenix construction site, which was just unreal. Walking around an actual construction site of a coaster and being as close enough to touch the track. I didn't touch the track. I could well have done. I went on the brake run, I went in the station, saw the ride system, went as far as the transfer track, and the train had just been delivered that day, but I couldn't see it. It was top secret, which was a shame, but I saw it under the covers. I saw it, but it was under the covers, so I didn't quite see it, but it was there, so it was good to see it. So moving on to June, we didn't do much, did we, collectively?
Yeah.
I did the Leesburg PB event, that was amazing. I've no doubt Becca wants to go back next year. That is going to be happening. We've obviously got an event there which I've spoken about recently on camera. I am going to do a video about all the details for that after Christmas, so if you are interested in coming to Leesburg with us, keep an eye out for that one. That one will be January time. probably middle of January, when all the flight details are out there and all the hotels have got the prices up and everything like that. If you do need to know anything in the meantime, just drop me a message and I'll answer you straight away. So we move on to July. I'm starting to think that we didn't do that much in July and August. We seemed to take a bit of a break from it all.
It's too busy.
Yeah.
For me anyway, it was too hot and it was too busy.
It was so busy, the World Cup had been on, and it was just at that point of the year where you're going, it's so busy, every park's going to be absolutely rammed. So we did a couple of visits to Towers, we did a couple of visits to Pleasure Beach. You did Towers for the first time this year.
Yeah. First rides in the Wicker Man.
Yeah. You didn't like it as much as I was hoping, unfortunately.
No, I was disappointed. But there's another video about that, so
yeah.
we won't go over.
Unfortunately, that was probably the worst visit to Towers this year. They just didn't seem to be on form. Everything seemed to be struggling with reliability issues.
Oh, just trying to get a drink of water was ridiculous that day. They really poorly performed on that.
Yeah, because we all bought the drinks capsules, but then there was nowhere serving any Coke, funnily enough.
No, or just getting any drink, anything at all was really difficult.
I think one of the issues Towers had this year was that they probably underestimated how well the Wicker Man was going to actually do, and they didn't sort of staff accordingly to how busy it was going to be in the summer. And I think that's why when we went in July, there was quite a lot of catering outlets still closed because they just simply didn't have the staff and the budget to have them open, which was a real shame, because I think it ruined what would have actually been a really good day.
Well, it was a struggle to stay around too long in a park when when it's that hot.
Yeah.
There's that much walking to do and you can't get a drink.
Skyride was broke. That didn't help.
It's just not physically possible to not be able to have a constant drink.
Yeah.
As well as doing all that walking in that heat, and then trying to enjoy yourself on top of that.
Yeah.
It's just not good for anyone.
No, and it's something we've touched on before. Alton Towers needs more water rides.
Yeah.
2 is simply not enough. You've got Battle Galleons and you've got the Rapids, and it's not enough.
No, not nearly enough.
They need a Mack water coaster. They're obviously not going to get a log flume because they've got rid of it, but with good reason, really. I never thought I'd say that, but the Wicker Man is a very worthy replacement for it. And it pains me to say it because I loved the flume, as you all know why, but it's just one of those reasons that it's gone now. The Wicker Man's there. At least it wasn't an SLC that replaced another log flume that I like.
That's true.
So just had to get that in there. Oh, sorry Vekoma fans. Sorry, all 5 of you.
Oh, we're going to get some hate for that one.
Actually, I've met some people from Vekoma and they're really nice. I've actually got a Vekoma hat somewhere. It's not in this room, but I know where it is. It's in the PBE office. We do have a PBE office.
Yes, we do.
Which is the other room that I film in quite often when it's just me. And lighting in there is a bit of an issue, so we're going to get a big light for the filming in there at some point, and there's going to be some new stuff on the walls there soon as well, so I'm going to keep you all guessing because I'm going to keep moving stuff about, see how many of you notice. But we've just got pictures of us and our little boy on the wall here and our shadow.
Yeah.
So September, did we do much?
It doesn't feel like it because we had the big trip coming.
Yeah. I just went to Pleasure Beach. I did the late night riding event, and I think I went to Pleasure Beach every week in September, but I didn't really film much.
Yeah.
I know there was a bit of a lull with the vlogs on the channel between July and probably October because
it's getting us all together though, that's part of it.
Yeah,
we've all been separately busy. It's just been a busy year for us all.
Getting the band back together is not always easy. I mean, Mullet's been busy doing his driving. He's got a new position at work. Obviously, Becca's had our little boy, and then
I've gone back to work.
And got 2 jobs.
So I'm busy.
That's why Becca's never on the channel.
Yeah.
Obviously, I work in the week, and then the weekend, because Becca's working, I have our little boy, or my parents have our little boy, and that's when I go and do the trips. So we had a bit of a lull at that point, and then October just went crazy. We had the big event at Efteling, Toverland, and then Phantasialand. Then I went to Towers and Tully's and Fort Park Hull for Halloween. I then went to Port Ventura for Halloween. and then went to Europa Park, which was probably meant to be for Halloween, but they didn't really do anything Halloween, but I wasn't really bothered. It was the first time I'd been, and I just wanted to enjoy the rides. We were pretty strapped on time. We'll get on to your opinion of Europa in a minute. I know you're dying to slag it off.
Not slag it off. That's not how it goes.
Give it a thumbs down.
We'll
get there. We'll get there in a minute. But what were your thoughts on the Efteling, Toverland and Phantasialand events?
Toverland, fantastic. They are definitely one park I cannot fault. It's just everything seems to work very well each time. We had no problem getting anything to eat, anything to drink. Getting on all the rides was nice and simple. Even though there are a lot of steps and narrow passageways around Toverland, they've got really good signage to tell you where buggies and wheelchairs need to go. So it wasn't a problem getting anywhere, because you could let everyone go down the little steps, but you'd meet them straight away again because there's signage to tell you where to go. Yeah. Which is what other parks miss, because it's not always possible not to have steps, which is fair enough. But at least tell us where to go. Yeah. But everything was running really well. The Phoenix area is really nice. The ride I'm still not quite decided on, because the first ride was alright, then the second ride was really good. Yeah. So, not quite decided what I think of it overall, but that whole area is just really nice. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Phoenix, for me, the first time I went on it, I was really, really underwhelmed. I was just like, is that it? Is that it? Is that all it is? And I was just so disappointed. A lot of the group did it a good 4 or 5 times straight away, and I did it twice. I was just like, it's not even better than the Swarm. And I was like, what's going on here? No, it was definitely better than the Swarm. But then I went on it again in the evening, because we had the, was it half an hour ERT? Yeah. Then we did it on the 30-minute ERT, and wow, it just transformed it. Once it gets warmed up, it's very good. I did back left and back right row on the aisle seats, and that was just amazing. Aisle seats. I make it sound like I'm on a plane. On the end seats. You can tell you fly too often. Oh, well, I like to sit on the aisle. I can stretch out a little bit and get in the way of the cabin crews are pushing the trolley along, trying to sell me stuff. Don't sell me anything, I'm trying to sleep. Yeah. I could just... I sleep before takeoff. Before taxi sometimes, not even joking. Trust me, if I'm tired, I'll sleep before the plane's even loaded. Yeah, it's happened. We flew from Stansted to Barcelona to go Portaventura a couple of years ago, and I think I fell asleep before we took off and woke up just as we were landing, and I said to Becca, oh, this has been a quick flight. It was a horrendous flight. Oh. I was tired. I just can't sleep on these things. I was tired, and I'd been to see United play the day before, which was tiring, because Louis van Gaal was manager, and then we drove to Stansted straight after. Becca had a nice long sleep, I didn't. I came in, woke you up, and we went. Yeah. So, I'm just good at sleeping on the plane. Slept most of the way to America as well, which just the way it goes. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't on the aisle seat, I was on the end seat. So yeah, Phoenix is great. Efteling we've spoke about quite a lot. It's an alright park, but it's not a thrill ride park. It's not a park where you go and you go, yeah, I want to go on the biggest, best coasters, because it hasn't got any. Baron is an absolute shite coaster, I'm sorry. Waste of time. It's just, honestly, it's awful. When you've got Oblivion round the corner, yeah, it seems like a huge waste to go there. Oblivion is so much better. Yeah. I've not been on Shikra, but I'd imagine it's very similar. Shikra's a million times better. Yeah, so. But I've been on Valraven, which is bigger than Shikra, I think. Yes, it is, because until the one at Canada's Wonderland opens, Valraven's the tallest one in the world. I can imagine that's a lot like Shikra. I can imagine they're very similar. Your dad, as soon as he saw Valraven, went, that's just Shikra. They're very, very similar. So, yeah. Once you've done that, and you've done, I mean, we've all done Oblivion, Baron's just rubbish. It's all theming, no ride. And I think that was generally the feel of the whole group, to be honest. I think everyone thought that. I'm not even sure anyone went on it again that day. No, they didn't. Anyone bothered. No. Which is unusual for our group. Yeah, no one actually could be bothered to do it again, so we didn't. And then you've got that, oh, what's it called? The newest... What's it called?
I don't know.
And the big castle thing.
Well,
Gee.
you got.
That's embarrassing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. We got Yoris Enderdrek. That's good.
Yeah.
That's decent. Oh, Symbolica, you're on about.
That one.
I was thinking of a coaster.
No.
Symbolica. What's the point?
Oh my god, what a waste of time. That would have been better as a walkthrough.
Yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
that should have been a walkthrough.
Just rubbish.
Don't understand the point in that. Being able to see all the other cars and
it wasn't. I didn't feel immersed.
It was like they spent money on that ride system because they could.
Yeah.
There was nothing special about using it. I don't think it was well enough done to justify having it. It was just, why have I come on this?
Yeah.
I mean, the start of it and that kind of pre-show bit was really cool.
That was the best part of it.
I thought it was going to be quite good after that, and then it's like,
Well, you did it before us.
Yeah.
In single rider queue, and when you obviously came back and said it was pants, then we did it, and I was in the pre-show and I'm thinking, what's Becca going on about here? This looks good. Got on the ride, just like, yeah, this is
I think it'd have worked
rubbish.
really well as a walkthrough, a big interactive walkthrough.
Yeah.
It'd have worked really well like that rather than just sitting watching.
So our collective opinion on Efteling is it all looks fancy, but the rides aren't very good.
Everyone there though was really nice. The gatekeepers were brilliant.
Gatekeepers were brilliant. The whole event was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just not my favourite park, and it's a park that I'm in absolutely no rush to return to now.
No.
I will probably not go back there now until they build a big new coaster, and if that doesn't happen, then I won't be going back. Yeah. So, because 2 junior coasters is not enough to get me back there. Phantasialand, I will be going back. I'm going back next month, but I know you weren't a big fan of it. But
there was 2 things I liked. There are 2 positives from that. And that's Rake was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
Tacoma fan.
I'd have one of them here, no problem. That was really fun. For such a short ride, it was just really nicely done. And just the little details like the lights in the station that change depending on what the ride's doing was really good. I wouldn't have wanted to queue much longer than I did for it, but I just thought it was really good for what it was. It did what it needed to do. And then Mystery Castle, even though I keep calling it Magic Castle, was amazing. Why we don't have more of them, I don't know. That was fantastic.
And I know what everyone is thinking right now. Taron. So come on, Taron.
Just another launch coaster that everybody's hyped about, but I don't really see why. I didn't enjoy it.
Really? Not at all?
I did it a couple of times just to try and get the feel of it, but
yeah.
It was... I couldn't find the enjoyable bit about it.
Fair enough.
Just throw you into this, throw you into that.
There is a lot of fast transitions. The second launch is obviously bonkers. I really like it. I like the fast transitions. I like the airtime. I like the launches. I think it's a bit like Icon on steroids, really. But I still think that Helix is better than it. So
yeah, Helix is still better than it.
Yeah, but I think it's a great coaster. I really enjoyed Phantasialand. I was a little bit stressed because we were doing the event, but that didn't detract from the visit. I was stressed because it's such a big place, or it feels like a big place, but it actually isn't. It's just the theming is overwhelming. I said that.
Definitely.
Said that in the vlog. The theming's overwhelming. It makes it feel like a massive place. It isn't, but it is a maze to find your way around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be back in Phantasialand. Well, I'm going to be back there with quite a lot of people from PBE. Can't wait to go. Big shout out to Glenn and Sebastian from Phantasialand. They are absolute legends, and I absolutely love what you did for Pleasure Beach Experience on our visit, because you treated us all so much. We thought we were getting an ERT and dinner. We got backstage tours. We got walked on to so many different rides. We got invited on the Taron ERT, which is for hotel guests only. None of us were staying in the hotel. It was just the perfect way of running an event. I don't think anyone had any complaints in the way it went. So final weekend at Pleasure Beach then, pretty much. That was the next thing that we did together, because obviously there's vlogs from all the trips we did in October. Before we get on to Pleasure Beach, I will say that Tully's Farm Shocktoberfest, wow, best Halloween event I've ever done. Screenfest Burton, that was excellent. Farmageddon, excellent. I loved every Halloween event I did this year, and I can't wait to do them all again next year, just to see how they've evolved, see what's different. But Halloween is long gone now, so I'm not going to dwell on that. There is a big video on our Halloween opinions, which I'll put a card above our heads, so if you would like to hear those and you've not heard them before, please check it out. There's lots of reviews, including Becca's, who doesn't particularly like Halloween.
No, so Halloween's not for me. So
we'll leave that there. Final weekend at the Pleasure Beach. Well, it was a standard 10 o'clock close on Saturday, and then on the Sunday we had the final day of the season event. So, and that's pretty much been our season, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been really quiet since then for us. I've done Hyde Park the once.
Done Stoke Winter Wonderland.
Yeah, so we've not really done much. For our standards for an off-season, we've been really quiet in what we've done. But because we did so much earlier in the year, we've been able to keep the channel going in terms of uploading stuff. So that is pretty much the end of this video. But I'm thinking for my next Scott Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or whatever day I end up uploading it, just another Scott Monday. Sorry Mike, I'm taking your slot at 7 o'clock on a Monday. Only joking, I'm not replacing Mike Monday. I could never replace Mike Monday. Mike Monday just works because Mike is a legend, as you all know. But he does talk about so much stuff. He is just a man of knowledge. He could just talk for days. So that's why Mike Monday just works, because I set the camera up, I let him film, and I just walk off and go make a brew, or just get on with PBE stuff. It's great. And Mike's just great in front of the camera. So I'm sure you'll be seeing him on the channel again very soon. And I think he's going to do the Infusion fact file video as well. But before we do go off on this video, I just want to say, if you've got any questions for me and Becca, we'll do a joint Q&A. So please let us know in the comments. Any questions for me or Becca, let us know in the comments, and we'll film a Q&A session. If you'd like us to get Mike involved as well, we'll need a bigger chair for the three of us to fit on.
Yeah, but we want to get words in here.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think... Me, Mike and Mullet did a three-way Q&A session, and whichever one of us wasn't talking kept falling asleep. So
that's the thing. While me and you are talking, Mike will be sound asleep, and then...
yeah. So... yeah, but yeah, seriously, if you want me and Becca to do a Q&A session, let us know in the comments, send in your questions, and we'll get that filmed before Christmas. I was going to say Christmas.
We're running out of words here, I think.
So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.